Welcome back to the channel. We're here today, and today I'm going to be reviewing Wrexham's second pre-season friendly against Manchester United over in Finland in Helsinki at the Olympic Stadium. It's a massive occasion. The game hasn't even kicked off yet, and I'm going to be bringing you some squad news because I think a lot of these situations that I'm going to be talking about surrounding some players, potential future at the club, potential transfers, injuries, etc. will intrigue a lot of you at home. So before we get going in today's video, if you're looking for the best Wrexham AFC content, I say it every video, it's consistent coming your way on the channel. This is where you'll find consistent Wrexham content, whether it's transfer news, general news on the club, or just anything to do with the pride of North Wales Wrexham Football Club. It is coming your way on the channel and has been for the past couple of months. So if you are looking for that, and if you haven't subscribed already, you look down there and it says subscribe instead of subscribed, and you would like to keep up to date, please consider doing so. It's absolutely free to do so. Make sure to drop a like as well. Let's go for 350 likes on the first pre-season review of the season, and let's get talking first on squad news. So at the time of recording this, the game hasn't even kicked off yet. We've got an hour until kick-off, and of course yesterday we saw Phil Parkinson submit the squad list for the travelling game against Manchester United over in Helsinki, and it was a lot of talk amongst the fans surrounding players' situations at the club, players that have been left out of the squad for numerous different injuries, and as many anticipated, the most notable name to be left out of the squad is Elliot Lee, and I think it only points towards one thing now. I do think the game against Wisla Krakow over in Poland the other week was the final time that we will see Elliot Lee play in a Wrexham shirt. I think that was kind of the send-off that Wrexham wanted for Elliot Lee, and I think it was the send-off that he absolutely deserved. Fans serenaded his name at full time, and yeah, it is unfortunate. He's 31 years old now. Could he have played a role in the Championship this season? I'm not really too sure, given the quality that we do have in that attacking midfield role and obviously potential signings coming into the club, but it looks like a deal is in the pipeline for Elliot Lee, whether it be in the coming days or in the coming weeks. I think there is something in the pipeline for Elliot Lee to leave the club, and as we've seen on social media, the rumours are doing the rounds, are saying that he is set for a move up to the Scottish Premier League. Now, is Elliot Lee good enough for the Scottish Premier League? 100%. I should have said that the other way round. Does the Scottish Premiership deserve Elliot Lee? And the answer is no, because Elliot Lee is such a good player. I still do think he could do a very good job for a top-end League One side, possibly even some Championship side. So I'm sure whoever he goes to, the likes of Dundee United, Motherwell, he'll absolutely rip it up there in Scotland and will have a really good sort of final few years of his career. So if this is the end for Elliot Lee, it's a shame that we haven't got to see him, get that send-off at the racecourse ground that he deserves. But yeah, we wish him all the best of luck. It's not confirmed yet, but I think it almost is guaranteed. Right wing back Ryan Longman isn't in the travelling squad as well, and I'm sure that'll be one of interest for you at home watching this, a situation that would be keeping eyes on, because it's not a situation that Ryan Longman has come into this game with an injury. Phil Parkinson has done that press conference before the game and has talked about the likes of Windass, Cleworth, Ben Sheaf, all of those players that have suffered injuries, and Ryan Longman wasn't one of those players that he said had an injury. So I don't know whether if Ryan Longman is one of those players that's set to leave the club, if again, like Elliot Lee, there's a deal in the pipeline for him that could be completed in the coming days of the transfer window. And I do think it's interesting for Longman as well, because he played such a, not a big role, but featured heavily last season in the Championship, and at this moment in time we only have two right wing backs, and if Longman is to leave, I'd say he's probably the stronger option over Ryan Barnett, and I can see Barnett possibly leaving. That would leave us with no right wing backs, so there would be heavy investment needed down that right hand side if Wrexham are to let Ryan Longman go in the coming weeks of the transfer window. If we're looking as well, striker Ryan Hardy has not been included in the squad, and I think again departures for those two are very likely. I think Ryan Hardy a lot more than Ryan Longman, because we saw Hardy travelled out to Wisla Krakow and then hasn't featured against Manchester United. I think a deal could be done for him very, very soon. Looking on the injury front, Josh Windass is still recovering from a calf injury. He's back in full training. Max Cleworth was nursing an ongoing problem with his Achilles. He's got over that and has been back in full training, and it's almost a case now of them not wanting to risk them before going out to America, where you're going to have the jet lag, the time zone, you're going to have very hot weather conditions, those intensity games against some big opposition in the Premier League. You don't want to be risking those players, and it looks as if they'll both be travelling to the States. Ben Sheaf as well is recovering from a slight shoulder issue and isn't being risked for the game. Libby Kakachi as well, I'm not sure what the situation is with him. Of course, with him being injury prone, he's just played those games at the World Cup. He's not been back at Wrexham for, I'd say, longer than a week now. He's not been back in full training, so I think it's a case for Kakachi of being rested. So we are at half time of Wrexham versus Manchester United, and the current score is Manchester United 0, Wrexham 1. And I think it's been a good first half. I think it's exactly what Wrexham and Man United both needed in terms of their squad in needing minutes. But I think the overriding feeling for Wrexham fans is we'll be very, very happy with how we played. I think on the ball we look well. In possession, you're coming up against some really good players in that Manchester United squad who, are some of the fittest in world football. And I know it's only a pre-season friendly, but you look at how confident Wrexham are knocking the ball around. I think you look at the performances of Callum Doyle in that centre-back role, really good, coming out with the ball, threading those balls out to the channel. I think really proving why he is going to be another key asset for Wrexham going forward this season. I think it's just sturdiness at the back, and you can almost guarantee that solidity from Callum Doyle. So really happy with his performance. I think O'Brien in the middle of the park as well has fought for every last ball, has done really well. And I think it's clear from Phil Parkinson, his words before kickoff were, yes, it's a friendly match, but you're going to have some fans paying hard-earned money to come out to Helsinki to watch Wrexham. You're going out there and you are trying to win this game of football, and that's exactly what Wrexham has showed. I think we've shown more positivity going forward. I think we've wanted to win the game more than Manchester United. Of course, it's only half time at this stage, but I think I've been really impressed by Wrexham. I think Aaron James as well down that right hand side, really putting up a good test against Patrick Dorgan, really just holding his own well. And I think as well the goal, you can only be really pleased for how well worked that was. A throw in, that ball back to George Thomason into the path for Lewis O'Brien, and then what a wicked ball across the face of goal from O'Brien that was. Sam Smith tapping home. And I think it was just the work rate from Wrexham and the energy levels that you can really get behind and really just be proud of, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for some of those players. Some of those players might not be there if we ever get to the Premier League, so they're going to take that opportunity really well. And I think it was key on commentary as well, Andy Morel saying they've had pre-seasons where they've won every single game and then you hit a brick wall and suddenly you don't really do so well in the season. But I think for Wrexham's point of view, it is so vital that we really put ourselves through the pace and really put ourselves through the tests that we do get in terms of these Premier League opposition to just get us ready for the Championship next season, because it's going to be a stronger league, and facing off against some of these teams like Manchester United, and don't get me wrong, this is not a Manchester United youth team that Wrexham have just beaten like we saw a couple of years ago. They're the likes of Mason Mount, Harry Maguire, Lenny Yoro, new signing Andrey Santos, Zirkzee in the side, so they're all Premier League proven players. And yes, it is only a pre-season friendly, but Wrexham are holding their own really well, and I've been really impressed with just the general performance from Wrexham. I think everyone's put in a good shift. You're looking at defensively, very strong. Dan Scarr played a couple of really good neat balls into the midfield, which have opened the chances and opened the creatings for Lewis O'Brien to spread those balls out to the channel. And there have been a couple of times where Man United have knocked on the door. I think they hit the bar, late on in that first half, but I don't think Okonkwo's had a save to have. We saw that snapshot from Joshua Zirkzee, but overall I think it's been a quiet showing from Manchester United in this first half. I think it's obviously Michael Carrick has gone out there and said, look, it's just about getting minutes in the tank. It's their first pre-season friendly. It's not going to be the be-all and end-all if they don't win that game. But I think what we can expect from the second half is wholesale changes on both sides, and hopefully a more competitive game on the Man United end of things, because they'll have youth players coming into this side who are going to want to make a point to Michael Carrick and really push themselves, putting through the paces against some experienced players in that Wrexham side. So yeah, I think it's been a positive first half. I think the front two of Kadamachi and Smith have worked really well. Broadhead, you can probably tell it's his first game back that he didn't play against Wisla Krakow. I think there were a couple of times where he could have released that ball through to Sam Smith or through to Aaron James or George Thomason on the channels, but kept onto it a bit too long, which we did see in the Championship last year on quite a few different occasions. So hopefully he can get that out of his game soon. But again, it's the first minutes back for him. He's had a couple of injury scares when he went down twice, but nothing came of that. So overall, very positive first half from Wrexham. Not many complaints there. Good to get minutes in the tank against some really strong and experienced opposition. Full time in Helsinki, Manchester United 0, Wrexham 1. Wrexham get their first win of pre-season, and going off my words at the end of the first half, I was expecting the game to open up those Manchester United youngsters to want to make a point to Michael Carrick ahead of the Premier League season next year. I thought there was going to be chances created by those players, a couple more goals, but it wasn't meant to be. It was a very dry performance, I think, from that Manchester United side. A very safe performance as well. I think on their side of things, it was about getting minutes in the tank and not really proving themselves to Carrick, because if that was their chance to prove themselves to the manager, I don't think they did a very good job of it. I thought going forward they weren't too good. I don't think you created many opportunities. Danny Ward, I think you could count the amount of times he touched the ball on one hand, and I think it was, again, testament to Wrexham's performance as well. I think the team that did come on in the second half put in a really good performance, a solid performance, did well at keeping the ball. I think the ball retention for Wrexham all across the game was very, very good. I think the passes that we did make into that midfield, the progressive passes out wide, very positive. I think we can take a lot from that second half as well. Despite there not being much action, I think Davis Keeler-Dunn shone as well for his just positive play going forward with the ball, his ball carrying skills. I thought Kiefer Moore was quiet. Aaron James as well, again, a massive well done to him. We want these players. This is the opportunity for the likes of Aaron James, for Ashfield, to come into the side and prove themselves ahead of next season in the Championship. So for Aaron James's point of view, and I think this is the way how Phil Parkinson would have seen it, if this is their opportunity and if they're, putting in a really good first half performance, why would you bring them off? You'd want them to continue proving themselves, and that is exactly what Aaron James got. He got that opportunity to play an extra 20-25 minutes, which I thought he played really solid in, considering he's not played a competitive football match for Wrexham in probably a couple of years now. He played those EFL Trophy games here and there, but a first league game for Aaron James happened, I think, nearly 2.5-3 years ago, so very well done to him, and hopefully it'll be a big sign of things to come, possibly in the United States when we do face off against those 3 Premier League sides. But I think overall for Wrexham, a very strong performance across the 90 minutes. Good to get minutes in the tank. It wasn't about winning the game. It was about proving yourself against strong opposition and putting up a really good fight. And we did exactly that. And I think we got our just rewards as well. That clever goal from Sam Smith, that clean sheet for Ward and Okonkwo. So no complaints for me. Manchester United, I think they'll be slightly disappointed at the way how they didn't really create many chances for the 20-odd thousand fans that were in attendance. They didn't really give them much to cheer about. But I think Carrick will be moving on from this one very swiftly and just saying, look, it was minutes in the legs, like Phil Parkinson will do for Wrexham. But again, we've beaten a good opposition who had multiple appearances in the European competitions, Premier League, etc. It is only a friendly match, but very good performance from Wrexham. So if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe as well. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers. And until the next one, take care, guys. Up the town.